Hello everyone. Welcome again to another Data+Train live stream. We are back once again in this hot seat. And I mean, it is hot in here, so definitely in the hot seat. Let me just turn off one of the lights, 1 second. That's a bit better. That gives us the ambience that we're looking for. And I'm just going to turn on the overhead lights so we can have a perfect visual indication. It should have come automatically with the buttons. Didn't happen. Not sure what I've done with the buttons. Let me turn it on. Ta-da! And you could probably hopefully see me okay. So bit of a fun opening there for us all. Welcome back. This is day number 9 in August and live stream number 9. So it's good to be back again for one of our live streams. Again, these are about 25-30 minutes long. We go into some content around Power BI. We'll do some demos. We will continue on from where we were. We'll share some resources with you as well. So hopefully you'll have something to learn and something to look forward to as well, kind of coming in the following week. We are going to be live every day in August. If you are new to us, welcome. Go and subscribe, hit that notification bell and get notified every time we go live with a new video or new stream. I say every 8:30 p.m. British Summer Time, so 20:30 GMT +1, we are going live on YouTube for your questions and to help you understand Power BI just a little bit better. So on the screen here, you'll see one of the elements that we're currently working with, which is our mind map for the DA-100 certification. So this is the new role-based certification, came out beginning of July, and the actual course, the 4-day course, the DA-100 4-day course, was released on the 24th of July. We will be running a competition, which we kind of been running all last week, and I was going to do a quick kind of clip into them, where we gave you a code word every single day last week. I think there was actually 6 code words in total. And you can go back and look at the day 1, 2, 3, 4 on our YouTube channel and see the different ones and get that code word. Reason being, we are going to be holding a competition for access to what was originally going to be 1 seat on our training course in August. And what we're going to do is we're going to increase the capability and maybe the favorability of you winning the seat. We're going to go up to 3 seats available. We're going to do the drawings on Monday the 10th, 11th and 12th. And the course is going to be from Monday the 17th through to Thursday the 20th. So you've got just over a week kind of from the drawing to go. It's completely free if you are a winner. If you aren't, we will have some significant discount codes to award you that you can make use of if you don't get the full prize and you don't get a seat for free. These are going to be very, very cost effective. I think kind of the normal price out there in the field at the moment for these is running just over 2,000, maybe to £2,500, which is a significant amount of money. And I realize that most of you probably don't have that lying around. If you do, you've probably got better things to do with it than that anyway. So we're reducing our prices down. Now, normally we would kind of go about half the cost of the UK kind of larger partners, because we're a small partner, so we don't have as many overheads. But we are trainers for those companies as well. So you kind of get the same experienced trainer come and deliver it, but we can do at a much more economical cost. But for these DA-100s, they're brand new. We're going to get them out the door for you. We were doing them at $895. So if you win a seat, you save yourself nearly £900. We will have discount codes, and we were going to do a couple of different tiers of discount codes. What we're going to say is if you join us on the live stream and you enter and give us your email account details, we will email you a unique code just for you. Okay, so that code will be emailed out. You can email me or let me know. We'll give you an email address, rather, sorry. You can email us. We will return with an email code for you that's unique to you, and you can use that to sign up for that. And it's a one-off use, obviously. So you can either choose the August delivery, which is the 17th to the 20th, or you can use that discount code for our October release as well, which is going to be the 19th to the 22nd of October. So we've got 2 dates where we're going to run the DA-100 certification. That's the 4-day instructor-led, lots of details, and we're going to explore some of that a little bit as we go through tonight. But if you come on our live streams on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and I'll give you my email address so you can kind of contact me on, and you'll have to include a code word. And one of the code words is from last week, or ones that we will give you on Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday. And if you give us any of those code words, we'll send you that email with that discount code, and it will be 50%. So you're going to come down from nearly £900 down to £450 for a 4-day course. That's about 15% of what it would cost you to go on to one of the big providers. So it's significant cost. Basically, it's covering our overheads. That's pretty much it. So we're doing lots of stuff free for you guys. In, as you can see, probably if I just zone in a little bit and just move that out of the way a little bit, we are covering the content that's in the DA-100 in each of the following 4 months. So August, we've already started. We prepare the data. Model the data is going to be the focus in September. We've visualized the data in October, and then analyze the data and maintain and deploy deliverables will be in on November. These are the 5 kind of maybe categories, you can call them, that are ones that we are using and looking at the exams, and we're going to focus in on the details of that. So we go into actually the certification. Let me just go and browse up. I'm going to come up. I'll come back to this in a minute. This is where we're going to come to and come into the overview for the certifications. Now there's a whole bunch of new role-based certifications and the whole list of them there here. I'm going to just go into the data analyst one, and let's go and see if we can find it. Data, I'll tell you what, it's easy just to type it. DA-100 is the one that I'm looking for. Search for that. So we got the certification, Microsoft Certified Data Analyst Associate. And here we got all the skills that measured the instructor-led course I was just kind of mentioning. These are the ones that we're going to have. Let me just take that. Get my cursor. Oh, I need to zoom out. That's one of the annoying things. I can't. If I zoom on one screen, I can't move my cursor to the other one. There we go. Get rid of that for a second. Now, also, what I'm going to do is, if I just do this and bring myself up into the screen for you, so a little bit easier. Maybe you follow me if I'm on screen as well. So, coming back to this here, we have all the skills outlined, downloaded, and this is where we're doing in August to prepare the data. Essentially, we're doing roughly 2 of these. This is kind of really hard to highlight in this PDF. There we go. And then each day we're going to be putting a new episode out. Now, we were supposed to do them Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Sorry, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, every day, starting in August. We did the first one, and then unfortunately I had a number of other things that kind of just tumbled in that week that kind of just blew out my schedule. So I've got some opportunity next week to catch up and get ahead of the schedule a little bit. So kind of make sure I've got a bunch of these already banked into the system, kind of pre-prepared, ready, scheduled out. So they will go out on the Monday, Wednesday, Fridays going forward. That's 13 videos in August, 13 in September, October and November. 52 videos alone that we're doing for the DA-100, which covers all of the content that we are looking at. So let's just zoom out. There we go. So we've got prepared the data. We're then doing modeling the data. We will then look at visualize the data. That's all the nice visuals in the front end. And then, of course, we've got to analyze the data. So we've got some additional capabilities, including things like AI capabilities. So some of the stuff that's not even in here, but we are focusing on what's in the exam. But if there's something that's not in the exam that I'm going to showcase, I will make it abundantly clear that this is not an exam, but it's an extra kind of extra video we wanted to throw in because it was relevant. And then we got the deploy and maintain deliverables. So we're kind of creating our workspaces and getting those refreshes done and things like gateways and all the kind of background maintenance and kind of admin that you need to do. All part and parcel of kind of a data analyst role. So remember, this is a role-based certification, and this is what we're trying to focus in on. Let's go back to our school, and we're going to come in and look at where we were yesterday, which was bringing some data in. Now we used a link in here where we went and looked at bringing data in from one of the, let me just go back out a little bit and come back to get data. So we were looking at bringing data in. Now, one of the first things we did was to get data from files, and we had a number of different locations where we could go and grab files from. And one of the examples that we did where we brought data in from a Microsoft Access database. And we also had ones like Excel files. So we kind of used that as a starting point. But of course, we've got other relational data stores and other connectors like SQL Server or one of the Azure SQL capabilities. And that could be Synapse Analytics, it could be an Azure SQL database, SQL Server in a VM, managed instance, you name. There's SQL Server under the covers, and the connector we're using is going to be the same. Now, we also have, let me just bring up a blank Power BI file and just maximize that out. So you notice we don't have anything in the fields pane at the moment, so there's no data that is residing so far inside of this report. So what we're going to do first, we're going to go to the Get Data pane, click on that, and come down. Now you notice that we have some common, typical data sources, but if we go down to the More, we can actually see a whole bunch of more. Let's kind of wait for that to load up, and let's go back to the. You can see that we have a large number of connectors. There's over 60 connectors. I don't even know what the number is right now, but there was a large number. We have them broken into categories like file, database, and in Azure, we have Azure SQL, database, warehouse, Synapse Analytics is now named. I'm surprised they haven't renamed this yet. Something that's kind of just I was scratching my head on earlier going, well, they've done a lot of rename and stuff, and pretty much everything's been renamed. But in Power BI, the connector is still called Azure SQL Data Warehouse, but that is also known as now Synapse Analytics. We've got some analysis services, Cosmos DB. So we're going to have a quick look at the Cosmos DB and the SQL one tonight. We'll do SQL one first. Click Connect. I'm going to zoom out because it's a little bit easier to kind of do. I need to go and get my server FQDN, fully qualified domain name. Can't speak tonight. Not sure what my problems are with speaking sometimes. And let me go and grab the details. So I'm going to go into my Azure, and you can see here that I've got a little dashboard there with some exam DA-100 stuff, and I've got my SQL database here. So I'm going to click on there, and what I want to do is I need to go and get this server name. Grab that. I'm going to come out of that. Let me just zoom out. I've got to remember which key I clicked. Okay, where's my cursor gone? There we are. Right. Okay, let's try that again. There we go. Sometimes it just gets the better of me. I don't know why. Okay. By the way, if you do have any questions, we are going to be putting on. So actually, I've just got just checking. We hello, welcome. Yes, sorry, I didn't quite see that email address. So we will put that up there. Let me kind of ping that up there, and I will respond to that in a second and give you the email address of where you can enter the competition. But essentially it's Neil at, and my company's called Beacon Intel, so that's beaconintel.co.uk, but I'll put it up in the chat window in a moment. Let me see. I'll tell you what, while we're here, let's go and see if I can just put it into the chat window. So Neil, you can't see it, I'm on the other window, beaconintel.co.uk, and go over to my tweets there, and hopefully that is going to come up. Let's have just view the queue. And there we go. And let's just send that over to the window. So you can see my email address there is neil@beaconintel.co.uk. I'll put it back up again in a minute. Let me just do that once more. Number one. There we go. Let me just put it up there and leave it up there for a moment too, because the automated one just disappears very quickly. Okay. Right, so let's go look at where we were. So we were taking Power BI and we were going in the SQL database. Let me kind of paste in the details of that. So you can see I put the server name in. I can put the database name in optional, but I'm just going to say, okay. Now, if you are running this, you probably need to make sure your firewall rule allows your private IP, your client IP to be in the firewall rule list. Otherwise, you won't be able to access this. Let's go and grab a entry. So what I'm going to do here is just going to show you something also, is I'm going to come down and click on customer. And this turns on also the related tables. So if I click this, you notice it's also checked a few others, and then I'm also going to click related tables again, and it's clicked a few more. I'm just going to click it a couple of times, because essentially what it's doing, it's actually kind of like finding it. We got to the end where it didn't have any related tables. That's so come, where's, okay, cursor come back to me. Okay, so this is where it's now gone and disappeared on me. So I need to work out how to get out of that. So I do apologize. Sometimes this thing just gets in the loop, and okay, how do I get out of that? Okay, and zoom out, and zoom out. Okay, this is going to be annoying. I do apologize. I'm going to have to work out how to get out of this now. So let me kind of, there we go. So I'm not using the zoom anymore because it's causing me too many problems, too many headaches. Okay. I say that, I'll carry on using it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do transform and data. So I'm just going to click on that. Now that puts me in the Power Query editor. So I've got two modes of zoom. I've got a zoom which just zooms me in and out, and I've got a zoom which actually allows me to click through and do stuff. The zoom in and out works fine. The zoom that kind of allows me to do stuff sometimes gets stuck in the loop. I'm not sure why. Okay, so we can see here that we have a number of tables. By the way, if you want to know where all this stuff at the top is, you go to View, and you can click on the additional kind of data preview stuff like column quality, the profile, and the column distribution. And then when you highlight column, you've got additional information that you can help with understanding the values. Now, if you also have kind of an entry looking like this on the end of your column, that means it's kind of a related structure, a table. So we're going to click on the expansion, and we're going to untick the original. And here I'm going to uncheck everything. And I want let's have a look, we want the product model ID and the product description. So notice that we've got the sales LT. That's basically the table that we were in before. We want now the kind of the related table. So I'm going to kind of bring in a few different bits of information. That's going to just those three is fine. And notice now that we also sometimes have value as well as table. So here I'm going to now click on the value one, and I want to uncheck that. And I'm going to just do description here. And I'm putting some information. Now, you can see I can keep going through and doing that and cleaning first stuff up. I just wanted to showcase that we can bring data in from tables, click on the related tables, bring those in, and then start diving into those related tables and start expanding them. Because there's a lot more kind of transformation steps you want to do. Those are detailed in the steps of the Microsoft Learn module we were just looking at. Let's go look at a different one. So I'm just going to go home and go close and apply, just because I want to now load this data into my Power BI report. So we're creating an internal model. It's a memory resident model, so it's going to be highly efficient, highly compressed, very efficient. And you see here we've now got all of these structures being added in. If I go into tables, you'll see that they're all there. And if I go into my Power Query editor through the transform data tab, this one up here, you'll see on the left hand side, you'll see a list of all of those individual queries that we had, and we can pick those in turn, and we can see the navigation and steps that we did. So I think we go down to one of these ones where we had some additional steps done. Let me see if I can find it. Can't remember which one it was. Did we do one of them? We'll see it. There we are. So notice I got the expansion here. Now I've got a cog to the very kind of side of that. I can click on those and see what those are. I can see the steps that I took. So we get a dialogue that kind of shows up, but I can also see that in the advanced editor as well. So in the advanced editor, I can see the steps that we have done. And this is the M code essentially that is describing the steps in sequential order. So starting from the top and working our way down, we expanded and we're doing additional steps. This is the transforming the data, shaping it, getting it ready. So in terms of kind of what we're doing for prepare the data, these are all the different kind of transformation steps. Removing columns. So I've got a couple of columns. I don't want the row GUID. I'm just going to remove that one. I'm going to insert step to kind of remove that column. I can kind of also maybe kind of position it as well. And you know what? I don't want this one anymore. So I'm just going to remove that and do a step there as well. So I've got a lot of different things I can do. I can change data types, obviously. I can do a lot of transformation work, and you'll see that there's a number of different tabs at the top here. And predominantly the things like transformation, we could go into there and perform a whole bunch of different types of activities, and even to the point where we can actually go and run scripts like Python and R scripts that allow us to go and do that. Okay, it's very, very hot in here for a second, so give me one moment. That's better, and just take a sip of water as well. Boy, it's kind of been warm these last few days, and with the lights on as well, it gets even hotter. I think it's like 36 in here at the moment. So there's a lot of power to Power BI, and what we're going to do is going to skip back to the entry here, and we can see that these are the steps for performing that kind of get data for SQL Server, bring that data in. You will kind of need to probably have a user, like database user account and name that you specified when you created the load account, or you might be using a kind of Office 365 account as well. But we will get access into those databases. We can even run queries, of course, as well. So we have the ability to select, and instead of just kind of creating select these tables, bring in, we can define a SQL query and build just the result set from that. And that could be very, very, very powerful. We can include relationship columns in there as well. It includes things like failover support. So when that database falls over to another server with always on availability groups, you can then kind of follow the path of the failover support. So you go to the new server, and you can inherently provide that capability as well inside of this. If we want to change the data sources of where they are, we can go easily and kind of make those changes of what the server name is. So maybe you're developing in dev, and then you're going to release this and put this into production. Potentially, you can use the kind of SQL database. We have other ways of doing it as well, like with code. So we can actually kind of like parameterize our connection strings, etc. And some of the settings, some of the videos I'm going to be doing for you in the next 3 months, 4 months, will cover some of those details of like how to do kind of regular things that kind of would normally, you might need a little bit more expertise and training on to get that. But we can write a SQL statement and grab that and make it even more complicated. Now, of course, there's other NoSQL relationships like NoSQL Cosmos as well. So we have predefined in my dashboard a Cosmos DB as well. So in here, I created a quick collection, which is a database with a collection in it. So retail demo with website data, gave it some details. By the way, this comes from the sample notebook in the visualization pane. So you can go and run this exactly yourself. You create a Cosmos DB account, and you run the notebooks for Python, and then come in and use the visualization one and just run that code, and that will create all of the code and load the data for you. And we got some nice little kind of visualizations in the Jupyter Notebook here for that. But we want to go and bring that data into Power BI. So let's go to our Power BI report. Let's come into our close and apply. So we just want to go back out of where we were, and we're going to go back into, okay, so it's going to apply those changes. Okay, so it looks like there was something I needed to go and change. I'll just discard the changes for now. And let me go and do get data, and we're going to come to more. We're going to go to the Azure tab. Let's wait for that to load. Here we go, the Azure tab. And we're going to Cosmos DB. Now again, we have a endpoint URL that we need. So let's go and grab that. And we're going to go back in here. We're going to go to our overview, and we're going to grab the end URI there. Come back to Power BI, dot that in. Again, we've got options for database and collection. I'm just going to leave that. And again, we could even kind of do a single collection there. Notice probably it's a very similar connector. It's pretty much the same thing under the covers. So retail demo, let's go and open that up. We have a website data. You can see kind of when we look at it, it just says record, because it kind of is hard for it to interpret actually the data. But we want to go transform data. And the reason why I show you that it just says record is if I look at this loaded or kind of preloaded, you'll see that we got that record. So what we're going to do here is we're going to kind of expand that out. We're going to uncheck the use original. I'm going to say select all columns for now, because I want to do some modifications to this data set. So there's a couple of things I'm going to do. I'm going to scroll over to my right first, and there's a bunch of columns that have underscore self, underscore read, underscore e tag. There's a couple of ways of getting rid of this. I could actually just kind of select one of them and using the control key kind of select more. But I'm going to go and use the choose columns instead. So choose columns, choose columns, and I get a list of the columns I want. Now what I can do is I do underscore, I get all the ones that have the underscore. Now what I can do is I click OK on that. You notice that, oh, let me go back and do that again. Seem to have messed up that one step. So let me uncheck all of them, click underscore. I'm going to select all the research results, click OK. Now what we have now is it's kind of gone to the very first one. This is kind of, I think, just a way of kind of, I see all the columns that it's run. I'm just going to highlight all of them. So I'm going to go to I've got the first column. I'm highlighting the shift key and going to the last column, and it's then selected all of them. I go right click and go remove columns. Now what I want to do now is essentially I've removed those columns, and we also removed the other ones. So if I'm just going to remove the other ones there, I've now got all the columns without the underscore ones. So I kind of like did it in 2 steps and then went and removed one of those steps. Now I could also have done it something like this, gone in here, and I could have said, here's the list. Notice I don't see the others now. Makes it a little bit simpler, a little bit kind of cleaner, I think, kind of this approach for me. But I can go back to a previous step and I can see that they were there in the expanded document. All of the extra columns were there, but when I've kind of removed them, they then disappear, and then I'm kind of cleaning stuff up. I want to change some data types. So the year, for example, that is a ABC123 at the moment, which is just a string. We don't want that. We want it as to be, say, a whole number. So let's just do whole number. Event date, that's the date time. I can look at the values. There is some 001s in here, but that's fine. I'm going to go date time. And I'm going to also have a look and see, well, price, that to me should be a fixed decimal number, so currency data type. Okay, so I just made a few changes. I'm not going to go through all of them, but that's the kind of thing that I would want to do. I probably don't want my, let's have a look at the right hand side there. And potentially sometimes I'm going to want something like the ID. I'm going to want it kind of over the other side. So I can kind of grab that and just drag it all the way over and just drop it where I need to be. And now I've got it kind of reordered. You can see we've got the reorder steps. So we've got now the order of the columns that I want. I might want to play that a little bit, you know, username, address, you know, the stuff like year next to the other, you know, kind of maybe latitude, longitude at the end, that kind of stuff. So, but everything I've got, and then I've got my editor, and it's got all the steps pre-done. Click done. I'm going to close and apply, and that is bringing that data in. Now, what we have now is the sales LT from the database. We have one column, which is the web data collection from Cosmos DB. And potentially, you know, there probably isn't in here, but there could be a related table column, and I could relate that data. I could have stuff in Excel or HR systems and SaaS systems. I could have my GitHub repositories, you name it. There's a whole ton of different connectors, over 60 of them, and you saw a great few of them there. We can also kind of just grab more like flat files. We can flatten our hierarchies and child-parent kind of structures, etc. You know, one of the cool things is just blank query. So I'm going to go blank query, and I don't know, I remember copying it, but let's have a look, see if I did or not. So actually, let's cancel on that. Let's go to the other query, the website data, discard. Going to grab that data. Going to go to advanced editor. I just want to grab all of this. I'm just going to get rid of it. Going to go to my blank query, and if I go to advanced editor, I just got my let and in. If I replace that, there's all the data. So what it's done is it's performed these steps in sequential order as they are listed here. And I can obviously reorder them, and that will help. And you can see the query is called query 1. So this is you know, second Cosmos. And I've got a new table called there, which is exactly the same as the previous one. But what I could do is maybe, you know, play with some data. There's other ways of doing that, but by the way, you kind of right click and go, I want to do a duplicate or reference that, and I want to reference that table. So lots of other ways of doing it. I'm just showing you some of the examples, not the full range of things that are there. Okay, let me just check our chat window, because unfortunately I can't see it right now. Okay. Is it true London is burning? Well, it's damn hot, and it might be that's the reason why it's burning. So yeah, so who knows? There's always something going on, and it's a troubling world out there right now. So you know, take your mask out if you do go outside. That's all. That's my comment right now, and I'm trying to just kind of get by. That's why I'm doing a lot of these YouTube videos. Actually, it's kind of trying to keep connected with the outside world. And you know, I can't go to the conferences right now. I just kind of trying to share some of my knowledge, but also, you know, I've got a business where I'm a certified trainer. I do training services all the time. So I'm trying to keep that ticking over and getting a bit of work through some of my training providers. And we're looking to start running their own courses. Hence, we're doing a bit of a competition for everyone. So coming back to that competition, we will just kind of bring that back up again for a second. Let me reiterate, if you weren't here earlier and you wanted to pay, is that we have been running a competition for the DA-100 4-day instructor-led certified course, which will be run by myself. This is the first time we're running it virtually online as a public course. So we're going to see how we kind of go. I do run private training classes all the kind of week in, week out for other training providers. So we're going to be doing it for ourselves for once. And we kind of thought, well, the DA-100 was an excellent new one that came on the block recently to kind of put out there because it only got released a few weeks back. So we got a competition and it was open for 1 seat. We're going to kind of increase that. We're going to share the love a little bit more, and we're going to have 3 seats available. We're going to do a drawing on Monday. And if you're fortunate enough to kind of get in the draw and be successful, you're going to get the seat. We're doing it the same on the Tuesday and Wednesday. So we'll have 3 different seats for 3 different students being able to access that course the following week. And if you weren't fortunate to be one of those 3, we'll give you some discounts, some heavy discounts. So we're going to go from our already really low price of $895, which is about a third of the normal price of everybody else running them, to a 50% discount off that. So down to probably about 15 to 20% of what the normal cost is. We're limited to 15 students, so we will not go above that. So once we get 15, we shut the door. We do have one in October, and you know, if we can't make the August one, we realize that kind of we can kind of do them every couple of months maybe. So we'll do the first scoop, and we'll see how the August and October ones go, and then we'll see if we can want to run more, maybe in the new year, probably after that. So let me kind of go back to the other screen for a second. Not the other screen, I want to go to the other. So this is where we're going to be spending some time in the next few weeks, as I'm going to be spending more time in putting resources into this mind map with all the links and everything else. And what I do is I have a link to all the videos as well that will be kind of there. So at the moment I'm just kind of putting them up there. Episode 1's already up, by the way. Episode 2 and 3 should have been out Wednesday and Friday. They didn't happen. I had a couple of client emergencies that just popped out of the woodwork, and that had to take a little bit of precedence, and also it took a lot longer than anticipated to solve those problems. But you know, that's the nature of the beast sometimes. And it got really hot, so I was like, I'm not recording in that heat. When I did have a couple of hours, I'll wait till it's a bit cooler. And then other things that kind of you know, took my attention. Snooker's on, so that's always like a squirrel kind of a type problem for me. I always get dragged into the snooker, and we have the World Championship. So you know, that's kind of coming to a close. So we'll get behind that. I'll be back up and running again. So we've done a bit of a demo tonight. We will have the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday live stream draws. We will have some videos that are going to go out. So there will be 13 videos for August, prepare the data, and then 13 for model the data. So I'll get on top of this and get in front of it. I will have all the playlists on our site. If you are not familiar with our site, obviously, this is where you kind of came to have a look at the playlists, have a look at the other recordings that we have. If you have any questions, please kind of throw those in the window. I'm just going to go and check, see if there's any more that come through. And that kind of looks like all the current questions that we have. So we are pretty much kind of done for today. It's very hot in here, and I need to go and cool off a little bit and let you have your evening back. I thank you for joining me. It's a pleasure to have you come in and join us, and be safe. Get some training in, both physical. I've been doing that last week as well. That's damn hot when you're doing training in the heat, and mentally. And we'll see you in the next video. And don't forget to subscribe and notify, and we'll see you soon. Bye for now.